Good evening, everyone. This is Gary Bennett. Welcome to Swift for Absolute Beginners. Tonight we're going to be covering Chapter 10 from my book, Swift for Absolute Beginners, available on Amazon and A-Press and all those good places. And anyway, of course, if you'd like to see our schedule on what we're covering, just go to excelme.com. Oops, if I can spell excelme, sorry. excelme.com. Good grief. There we go. And go to the free video section, and you can go ahead and sign up for the live classes, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and see what's coming up. So tonight we're going to be discussing human interface and writing a simple user interface application using Swift. So one thing that I talk about in the book is to make sure you don't put all your code in your view controller. I talk about what the model, the view, and the controller paradigm is, or MVC, in separating your code, especially if this code that you're writing is going to go to production. It's going to go to the App Store. So in order to do that, just one second, I want to make sure I got everything up and running. Okay, so in order to do that, we're just going to write a simple iPhone application tonight. So let's get started. I'm going to open up. And here is here's kind of one that you can look at as well as an example. Here I have, I'm utilizing the Apple's Bluetooth low energy application. I'm doing a Bluetooth demonstration tonight on our paid courses, and I have a heart rate monitor, Bluetooth heart rate monitor, hooked up right now. Typical one that you can buy from Amazon, and it's Bluetooth LE, and I can connect to it, and I can write an application that reads the information, displays it, has a nice user interface connected to it. So it's interesting. Standing at my office today, I stand and I work. I don't normally sit down unless I'm doing my classes. It's about 90 beats a minute. And now sitting down, it's about 80 beats a minute, talking anyway. So here's an example of a good user interface example utilizing Bluetooth and connecting all the data to a nice, in a nice readable, presentable format. So let's go ahead and just with the basic sample app, we're gonna work our way up to that over time. Let me get here to Xcode, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a simple application. File, new project, and single view application. Swift, test me, next. Create. I'm going to kill my Bluetooth application right now so I can run the simulator by itself. So let's get started by bringing up the storyboard and adding a button and a label. Pretty simple. So I'm going to go down here to my button, like so, and I'm going to add a label. I'm going to add it here, and we'll do this as kind of our first Hello World app. All right, come on, line up. There we go, center. And I'm going to center this label, and I'm going to do this button here, and come on, get over just a tad. There we go. That's good enough. Okay, so I'm going to call this, I'm just going to say label. I'm going to change the label property for it, and I'm just going to say start here, and it is centered. And the button here, I'm going to change its title here to press me, and I'm just going to do its alignments here. In the book, I go through how to do our auto layout here, but I'm going to do that. I'm going to center it, and then I'm going to do this and vertical spacing, and I'm going to center that horizontally in the container. Okay, so now let's bring up our lovely assistant and tie these labels to an outlet and an action. An outlet is, you can think of it as an instance variable or property. And I'm going to say this is an outlet, and because it's a UI label. And for this, I'm going to say my label, and I'm going to make it weak because I'm not sharing it outside of the class. And I don't need to hold on to the information. And you know what? I didn't get it. It's not saying that this is a label. It's saying, so let's try that again. I must have missed it here when I did that. Let's do it again. There we go. Outlet UI label. There we go. My label, and it's weak. Connect. And then let's do the same thing with our button, only it's going to be an action or also a method. Actions and methods are tied the same. We're going to make this an action and not an outlet, not a property. Touch up inside is the event that will trigger this method that gets called. We're going to call this the press me button or action. You can call it whatever you want. I'm going to say action here. All right, let's get rid of our lovely assistant and go to the view controller. And let's say when this button gets pressed, we change the text in the text field to say, in my label, dot text is equal to, double quotes, hello world. Like so. Okay, now let's go ahead and run it. All right, I'm running it. I got it up on the wrong screen here, but there we go. Everything looks centered, looks like it should. Our label here says start, our button says press me. And if everything goes right, I'm gonna set a breakpoint right here in the gutter. So we can see when I hit press me, this action now is gonna get called, and we're gonna update our label property with hello world as its text. And there we go. Everything is showing up just as it should. Press me, hello world. Okay, so that's kind of an introduction to chapter 10 with outlets and actions and hooking them up in Interface Builder, setting a breakpoint, and seeing them get called. So I'd recommend read chapter 10. Also, look over, download, and read Apple's Human Interface Guidelines. They're very important for iOS developers. I tell all new developers you're going to learn the Human Interface Guidelines one of two ways. One, because you voluntarily took the time to read them and understand, or when your app gets rejected, you're going to read them and understand them to see how you need to fix your app. And I've also had people contact me and want to spend a large amount of money to write an app for them that would have violated the Human Interface Guidelines altogether. So it's best to know the Human Interface Guidelines before you start writing apps and potentially wasting a lot of time and money. Have any questions? Feel free to post them on my forum. Send me an email. And then also, if you're watching through YouTube, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel, see what's coming up, and also how to go to live sessions. I'm going to stop this recording now and answer everybody's questions who is attending live. Thanks for listening, everybody.